once again, Wildcat fans. Welcome to another LC Coaches Show as we talk football once again this week with our very own head coach, Justin Charles. I'm Brad Welburn, and glad you decided to join us for a few minutes here this afternoon, this evening, as we discuss last week's Senior Day game against Hardin-Baylor and look ahead to the season finale this week on the road as the Wildcats take on Howard Payne. So let's get into last week's game. A lot of emotions around the game as well with the pregame senior introductions and things like that. It took quite a long time because we had quite a few of them. But those guys playing their final games at Wildcat Field, and had to be pleased with the way the team came out, performed. Knew they had a tough test in front of them with Hardin-Baylor, but and we talked about it. Probably the most complete game that we played all year. Unfortunately, it just happened to be against the number one team in the country.
Right. I'm definitely excited that our kids are, because you always want your last game to be your best game that you've played. And so we came out, and last week's game was the best game we played all year, most complete in all three phases of the game. Did we play perfect? No, but as far as playing well for 4 quarters in one game, I think that was the first time we've done that all year. And so, we still got a lot of things to fix, but, the energy that was there all day with the guys, they were excited about it being Senior Day with us having 25 seniors, and all 25 of those seniors gave everything that they had on the field, whether they were just a special teams guy or offensive player, defensive player, they gave everything that they had. And when that happens, you want those young guys to go out there and play for those seniors and just play lights out, and that's what those guys did. They gave everything that they had. They played with heart. They played with passion, and I think granted we want to play for a win, but our guys came out and played the most complete game that we've played all year, and that's what I'm more proud of.
And you got to be happy with specifically the offense because they did some things against the number one ranked defense in the country that nobody else has done all year, not even the high-powered Hardin Simmons or things like that. I mean, we had 400-plus yards of offense. Nobody's even gone over 300 against them. We scored multiple touchdowns. Nobody's done that all year. So with a freshman quarterback and, an experienced offensive line and experienced receivers and all that sort of stuff, that has to be something that, at least going into this final game, that, you can definitely build upon.
Yeah, it's definitely something to build upon. We've got a good edge with our offensive line being experienced, like you said, and those guys were able to protect the young guy that was back there playing quarterback and able to, which allowed him to get the ball to the receivers. And obviously Shed had a pretty good day Saturday. So offensively wise, like we've been saying for the past few weeks, those guys are starting to come into their own. We're starting to mold and gel together and play hard and understand that, hey, this is the style of offense that we are, so let's not try to be what we're not. And so definitely proud of the offense, man. We were able to run the ball on those guys a little bit, and throw the ball very well on them at times. And, there was a couple of them that, hey, if the ball falls your way, the ball falls your way. And it fell our way a couple of times, but even without those plays, we made some big splash plays against them. So it was definitely a great offensive output.
And I think a real key to the game was, I believe it was the second quarter maybe, I don't remember exactly when, but you got a little bit of help with some penalties by Hardin-Baylor, but a 16-play drive where, I don't think anybody's done that against them all year, just marching down the field, and I think we got a touchdown at the end of that drive.
So. We did. It was a long, methodical drive, and we ran some clock off, and it allowed our coaching staff as well to say, okay, look, let's stay with our game plan. While those seconds were ticking off at that time, we were able to sit back and think, okay, let's run the ball, or let's run this play, and this is what they looks like they're going to give us. Even though those guys do a great job moving around and flying around, we can see where, okay, hey, there's a hole here, or this is where we've been practicing this all week, so let's execute it right here. So, I think it was just a great plan offensively to move the ball on those guys.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about the defensive performance last week. You got a couple big sacks there from Zimmer and Cade and those kind of guys, and Willie made some more plays in the secondary as well. But let's talk about what you thought they presented with.
I think this was the best game we've had in about 4 weeks, with our guys tackling very well, flying around to the football, having just energy for 4 quarters. It helps when the offense is on the field for as long as they were, so we had a lot of energy. So the defense came out and we tackled very well. When you think of Leday and you think of Pickett, you think of then those 2 guys that you named, and even DeMatty, man, those guys were around the field, around the football all day long. And Willie Smith, he's just a guy that hey, I don't know why people still throw his way sometimes, but he does a great job, and he's just a competitor and one of those guys that we're going to miss down the road. But even the young guys that got in there, they came in, competed for 4 quarters, and tackled well. So we were ecstatic about the performance that those guys had on defense.
Yep. Certainly, like we talked about, something to build towards for this season finale, both on the offensive side and the defensive side as well. So let's get into that a little bit. You're playing Howard-Payne to close out the season at their place. Certainly another game. We've had a couple of those throughout this season that you definitely feel like a game, very winnable kind of game. So what does Howard-Payne do that you can tell us about that we're looking forward in that game?
Howard-Payne offensively, they do a good job as far as running the football. They've got a running back who's a bigger body kid that's very physical. So they use him in a lot of situations to get him the ball and get him running downhill. And their quarterback, he just does a good job with the short passes, is making sure, hey, you don't stop our run game right now, because we can still you still got to respect us in the passing game. And defensively, they do some things that we've seen all year, but they play so hard up front, that they can cause anybody problems, can cause anybody some issues. And so we're looking forward to playing them because, hey, yeah, it is our last game of the year, and then we're coming off of the way we played last week. But they present a problem because it's never been easy to play out there in Brownwood. The last few years we went out there and played in Brownwood, it's been a battle. We've been battle tested every time we go out there. So our kids know that. We're looking forward to it. The best thing about this is we do have 26 seniors that, and all of them have played out there in Brownwood before. So they're looking to go out there and, hey, redeem themselves, and, hey, let's play ball out there. Let's go play.
So, looking at the game, I guess from a season standpoint, you play very well last week, wanting to obviously finish off strong as you kind of transition into the off season and getting these guys that will be back next year kind of ready to go. Kind of similar to what volleyball did, where they finished strong with 2 wins. So it's certainly something that you want to do to kind of build that momentum into next year.
Right, you're right. We want to finish the season always playing our best. And if we can finish this season and play our best going in, or at the end of the season, that's what our word of the week is finishing and completion. And getting all of the deficiencies out, and just let's play ball to the best of our ability. Let's keep it as simple as we possibly can so we can play our best, and that's what we're going to try to execute and do this week. But that doesn't just lead us into next year. It leads us into the off season, which ultimately is next year, because we're not going to win games starting in August. We're going to win games starting next week, you know. So it's big for us to go out there and try to get this win.
All right, Co. Streams, everything will be available for the game as they typically are. Howard-Payne providing live stats and video for the game. Those links will be available on our website, lcwildcats.net. Also, the game can be heard on 104.3 FM, The Bridge. That can be live streamed on the website and over the airwaves on your radio dials and everything. I'll be there. I'll be on the call. So be sure to tune in and see how I try to live up to Rich Dupree, I guess. But anyway, I'll do my best Rich Dupree impersonations, I guess. But thanks so much for watching again this week. Coach, any final thoughts just on, getting ready for this game, finishing out the season, and kind of, taking us into a good off season?
I guess my final thoughts are really just excited about this being the last game of the season with these seniors, and us playing well last week. So finishing strong, and like I said a second ago, our goal is to get rid of our deficiencies that we had last week, and so we can execute and just go get a win.
Get a win. That's it. All right, thanks so much for watching. For Coach Charles, I'm Brad Welburn. We'll see you next week.